Hello and welcome back, everyone. I'm David Whitmore with Ag Economic Insights, joining you for the chart of the week. And I actually brought two charts this week. These aren't linked to a specific article, but they are part of our data offering. We've been working for the last year to provide data users, especially for ag inputs and ag output buying, county level estimates of acreage and yields and production so they can take that and have a better understanding what's going on in their market or their territory. As a recap, the USDA had historically been making these estimates, but they have been unable to keep up with budget cuts and rising costs over time. So we see more data gaps showing up over time. And so some 24 million acres of the corn crop didn't get allocated to the county level last year. So when you look at those annual gaps and you spread them out over time, it's really hard for data users to get a good grasp of trends and activity that's going on at the county level. The other problem is that 2025 estimates probably won't be available till spring or maybe even into the May of 2026. So how can we provide timely and more complete estimates of what's going on at the county level? And so that's what we're trying to do today. So today I'm talking about 2025 corn yields compared to a 5-year average. And one of the things that jumps out to me as I look at this is sort of some good yields in parts of the plains and down into Iowa and Missouri and parts of Kansas as well. Then you see strong yields over on the East Coast, but there's kind of a gap here in the middle, the opposite of a bullseye, where you see parts of Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and Illinois, southern Illinois particularly, and even parts of the Delta here just don't have nearly as strong of yields as what maybe Missouri, for example, or the Dakotas or Minnesota or Iowa are seeing here. So that's the first part of this story is producers who are in the areas where the shading is light or even on red. You can start to think about the implications on their budgets when there are fewer bushels and these lower prices. It's going to be a really big revenue hit in those parts of the country. On the other side, if you're having some of these big yields, those budget hits aren't going to be nearly as bad because, of course, there's going to be some offsetting that can happen between these higher yields and these lower prices. So the other way we're thinking about this also is around planted acres. Of course, the USDA updated their planted acreage estimates. So we've updated this. And so this is 2025 acres versus a 5-year average. So you can think about if you lay those two maps on top of that, and we do this and we think about this, but I want to unpull those for this conversation specifically today. You think about where we have a lot of acres of corn planted and all big yields, you can start thinking about how many bushels are going to be going onto the market, and what that implication will be for local basis or storage availability. And again, you can see probably not a lot of surprise. Missouri has some increase in corn acres, but if you move into Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, North and South Dakota, Minnesota, that's where we saw a lot of these acres really come online. And if you move to the east, there isn't nearly as many additional acres. So there's maybe more of a soybean influence over there. So again, take these two data pieces together and think about how these might play out for you as a producer, your producers, if you're working with those producers, but then also thinking about the implications for the grain markets as you layer these together and you think about how this is going to play out in those local markets and local territories. That's all we have for this week. Until next time, stay curious.